Hello, I'm Arthyr Chadbourne. I'm a fourth-generation astrologer, and welcome to True Astrology. Today I want to point out a few things. One of the things is that when you're doing a chart, these are the elements you really need to look at and find out exactly what the chart is trying to tell you. Every planet is in a sign. In this case I chose the Sun, and it's in the sign of Aries. Now, I need to know what sect is it. Is it a daytime chart or is it a nighttime chart? That's a difference, you know. There's a different process here. And I need to know the house placement of all of these and what their alignments are. So I need to know if they're strong or if they're weak. I need to know by the placement is Mars in a good place, it's ruled by dignity, or is it a weak place? Is it in a bad sign? Mars don't necessarily like being in Taurus, Cancer, or Libra because they're weaker signs, and it's in its opposition position by when you look at Libra. So what houses this is, what placement? Are there any aspects? And the aspects, of course, positive. Are they conjunct? Are they sextile or trine? These are good things. These are like little gifts to you. Are they negative, which is squares or oppositions? When you look at that, you need to understand that these will be setbacks or areas where we need to develop a different process in our life. Dexter or sinister? Dexter is the chart in aspect to the right or to the left of the chart of the two planets. The one to the right is called Dexter, the one to the left is called sinister. Dexter is more stronger, sinister a little weaker. Today we're going to cover the DWADS by degree, so you'll get a look at that. And then we need to see what month those DWADS indicate, and I'll show you that. And of course, you need to look at the ascendant and MC. The planets that rule those 2 points need to be looked at in the same way. So you understand exactly what's going on. As an astrologer, we're literally a detective. We're sleuthing all through this information to find out exactly what each planet is talking about or what it means, okay? Today we're going to do the Dodecatomaria, better known as the DWADS. So get ready for that. A DWADS system is really it's really basically the entire zodiac is placed within one sign. Each sign is divided by 12, and that results in 2 degrees 30-minute divisions. So there'll be 12 divisions in each sign. The 12-fold division starts with a sign of which you're interested in, and it follows the order of the zodiac. So if you started with the sign of Cancer, let's say, that would the first from 0 to 230 would be all about Cancer. So you'd have Cancer and a Cancer, moon. See, but after that, from 230 to 5, it would go to the sign of Leo, and from 5 to 7:30 it would go to Virgo, and on and on. It just goes on. So each 2 degrees 30-minute segment is what we're looking at, and they're called a DWAD. Okay. Here we're looking at a real easy shot of it. Now you see that we picked the sign Pisces, and what we're doing here is that Pisces is what we would start at, and we would place that in each of the house systems, and you'd notice here that it's telling us that there's the sign Pisces, and then it would follow in logical order all the way through the zodiac, and that would be in one house. So this is the entire house divided by 12 with the entire zodiac placed within it. Now notice over here I've got F, M, A, M, J, J, A, S, O, N, D, J. These are the months, and the months follow the sun sign. So just know that that's February, March, April, May, June, July, and on through the process. And so this is what basically we're seeing. So this gives you an idea of how to tell time also with a chart. So here you have the process of what the Dodecatomaria or DWAD does within each sign that's placed in a house. Now, the whole sign itself, the whole zodiac, fits right in there, which would be 2 degrees 30 minutes each, and this would be the whole house. So the whole house process basically is pointing out that there's the 12 divisions, okay? But you can take one division right here, and you can break it down to 12. And so if you break it down to 12, then you put the 12 zodiac signs within that area. And then you can break that little guy down to 12. And you can keep on going as many times as you wish and divide the sign by as many number of divisions you can possibly do. It's limitless. And when you do, you get a whole idea of a chart within a chart within a chart within a chart all the way down the road. The Hindu astrologers do this quite efficiently. And so this is something you really want to remember. Okay? The Greek dodecademoria means do is 2, deca is 10. So we add 2 plus 10 is 12. So this is where we get the idea of dodecademoria. The DWAD comes from the Hindu. They call them DWADS. So, that's what I say here. The Hindu, the more familiar is DWADS, and this is done by the Hindus. Now, notice over here I chose Cancer to the right, and what we did was Cancer. If we started with Cancer, then we would list all 12 of those segments within the sign, starting with Cancer, and just follow the logical order that's in the zodiac. So Cancer to Leo to Virgo to Libra, Scorpio, and so on. And that would be every 2 degrees, 30-minute segments. So from 0 to 2:30, Cancer would be Cancer. So the moon, and then we'd go the second 2:30 to 5 would be Leo. And then after that, from 5 to 7 would be Virgo, and so on. This is the whole thing. And again, notice that the JJASOND is the months. They're the sun sign months of those particular signs to the extreme right. That's really easy to remember once you know it. So it's something to think about. So, the early method was a bit difficult. And what we would do is you take any specific degree in a sign, and you'd multiply that by 12. And then you'd add the result from the beginning of the sign. So in other words, if 18 degrees Cancer, you multiply that by 12, that's 216 degrees. Well, the absolute longitude of Cancer, or 0 degrees Cancer, is 90. So I'd add 216 to 90, it would give me 306 degrees. 306 degrees as absolute longitude, or it would be called 6 degrees Aquarius. This is the long way. Thank God we've got something like the idea of the calculators in our pockets and our computers to do the work for us. So, the 12 signs with 12 divisions of each sign equals 144 total divisions, and you can see that on the outer wheel here. Each 30 degrees sign is divided by 12, and the 12 equal parts are equal to 2 degrees 30 minutes each. Okay? So what happens is that we create a mini zodiac within each house and sign. Placement of the planets in one of the 12 divisions provide a little subtlety with the declination or the delineation of the chart. And here we go with that. So what we're going to do here is 4 examples. If I started with Pisces, then you'd see Pisces would be 0 to 2:30, and then I would follow the logical order: Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Next would be Leo. If I chose Leo, then it would be Leo, Virgo, see? And so on. And if I chose Taurus, then it would be Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. And this would be the order. So that's in each sign you just follow the order. Start with the sign itself, and then you just follow the logical order, and there you have it. Very simple, very easy. Once you got it, you know it. The principle of the DWAD is to reflect the whole chart itself in a way. The signs are within a sign, and based on the planetary rulers, they account for a lot of the subtle changes we might see in the expression within each degree. Now we notice there are books out there on each degree of signs, and I think this is where this originated from many years ago. The primary planet ruler would also have a sub-ruler to it, and this is really what we're looking at. So we want to know what is going on with the planet itself, the ruling sign, and the DWAD. Now let's say, for instance, that you had the sun 1 degree Leo. Well, that would be a double sun system. You would see sun and sun, and that would be so the sun here is saying it's really strong. But if you had Venus, let's say, in the D section of 12 to 15, or from 15 to 1730, that would be either under Capricorn or Aquarius, and in that case Saturn would be a sub-ruler, and I would look at the chart to see what 2 houses are influencing that sun, and I want to see what 2 houses are in the chart for Venus, because we're going to be the sun is going to be working with Saturn and Venus. If it's in the sign of Capricorn, it may work out somewhat nice, but if it's in the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius being the detriment of the sun, Saturn here would indicate that it's a detrimental point, and maybe a problem with social structure or having relationship problems, because that's what that Leo would tell us. So this is a breakdown, you see. It's a small breakdown and tells us exactly what we're looking for in a chart. Very simple. Once you get it, you'll see it. So, You place your natal planets alongside a graph like this graph I just did here, and know where your degrees are, and then you put the connections to it and then see with who you're dealing with family members or whatnot. If say this Capricorn wanted to go in business with a Gemini or Pisces, this would say, yeah, the Pisces person would be a Jupiter influence because that's what rules Pisces. So I'd have Saturn, Sun, Jupiter here as a configuration. And it would tell me a story based on where the Sun is located in the chart, where Capricorn is located in the chart, and where Jupiter is located in the chart, a couple of houses away. Also, Venus is be a good. So if Venus is located between 12:30 and 15 degrees, that would be a Gemini DWAD, and that would tell me that the Mercury ruling Gemini would be working with Venus under Saturn. Well, that would give a good speech pattern. That would give somebody who understands the process, a lawyer. That'd be a good lawyer in a way. And so the process here is telling us what we can look at in a partnership just based on the DWAD and how they would work with us in any respect. Here we see Capricorn working with the Sun and Jupiter, and with Venus and Mercury, indicating that this would really be a very good relationship because both the Sun and Mercury are being affected by the two benefit planets of Venus and Jupiter. So you can see that very strong ties with somebody in these two places would show a good positive result. This is another way of looking at it. See, very simple, very nice, very easy. So when a benefit planet is involved, if say they fall upon the Sun, Moon, like Jupiter, Venus, Ascendant node, any of them they fall there, this tells you that they're pretty good, especially if they're in an angle. Angles are very powerful, as you've learned. So if the Moon is in trine to the part of fortune, the aspect suggests fame or a renowned figure, because the part of fortune usually pulls that out. However, if it's conjoined with Mercury, then the person's learned, or if it's with Jupiter, the dignified, like it's showing here, we see it's in Jupiter's in the sign of Leo, but Jupiter is at 10 to 12 degrees. It's vibrating very strongly the Jupiterian process here of Sag. So we're looking at that. So what house Sag is, we'd look at to see what we want to know about that configuration. If it's a Venus placement, then there'd be a friendly, cheerful concept to that. If it's a Mars with Leo, kind of okay. Saturn, not too good. So these two, Mars and Saturn, are usually considered troublemakers for the sign Leo. So that's where it would be, unless there was something that said differently. That would be a simple read. Here's a simple readout for you. Okay? So it's like this. You look at a chart, and then you look, say, here's the ascendant, and the ascendant is in Aquarius. So we would do the whole sign setup, like we see here, under Aquarius, and that Aquarian breakdown would tell us that then the degree of the ascendant happens to be on Leo, and where the Sun is happens to be in Libra. So those two, the Libra DWADS. So these DWADS would tell us by degree what we could expect this particular ascendant to be doing under this circumstance. So this is really telling you a lot about the individual's personality, because they're going to be an Aquarian with a Leo vibration and a solar point of Libra, and this is all by degree. These are noted by degrees. And so when you see this, it tells you the story of what this person is all about. They're a cool dude, Aquarius rising, and they have ascendant degree is 10 and is on the Leo point, and the solar point is right there on the Libra position by degree. So this would tell us then exactly what to expect from these individuals. Now, critical degrees. This is very important, because critical degrees were originated by the idea of the motion is 13 degrees a day. So if we start at 0 in the cardinal sign Aries, we're going to see that we go 0, 13 to 26. You add 13 to 26, you get 9, and 13 to that, 22, 13 to that's 5 and 18. So when we see this, we see that the critical degrees in cardinal signs are 0, 13, and 26. Fixed signs, 9, 22, and immutable signs, 5 and 18. It says it right there in the tablets. So those of you who read cuneiform, there it was just for you. Now, the idea of personal planets, within the Sun, Earth, Moon, all those. But you see the personal planets here are Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and the Moon. These place an influence, and when you see them on fixed signs, you'll notice that Venus will be a difficulty with self-control. So it's going to do things it enjoys regardless. With the Sun, it'll be somewhat arrogant. It'll boast about things it does. On a conversation, you'll be hearing more about I, me, mine than you will anything else. If it's on with Mercury there, there'll be learning curves for this person. Chances are they have speech or they have a problem learning how to talk, or either just simply communicating with people might be a problem. A Moon on a fixed degrees usually tells you that they're overly sensitive, and these would be the 4 major points that you would look at to see how this would resolve in somebody. These are the things you got to put up when you do all of it, when you do charts. You have to look at this stuff. The critical degrees, of course, the cardinal is 0, 13, and 26. That'll be aggressive if you see it in the Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn point, or if you see it in the signs of Taurus, Gemini, either one goes, but if you see the fixed signs of 9 or 22 in Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, that tells you they're a bit stubborn. And you can say, what are you going to do with that? Mutable, 5 and 18 in Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces is somewhat casual. Then, yeah, you can push them, but they're not in a hurry. So they're somewhat on a casual basis. So these are the critical degrees and basically what they mean. You have to add that to the mix as well. So if you do the charts of many Hollywood stars or larger-than-life famous personalities, you'll find that this pieces of information I've just given you will support the findings. All it takes is just a little research. So just see what you can do with that. And you'll see what you can find with different personalities. It'll show up every time. So remember that when you're looking at a planet, you have to do all the things we just talked about. You have to know the location, what sector it's in, what sign it's in, what dignity it's in, what placement it is in. Is it angular or is it non-angular, which is strong or weak? By house placement, terms by degree is something we'll cover in a later time. The DWADS we covered today. Is the aspects positive or negative? Sextile, square, conjunct, or is it negative? Square or opposition. Dexter being right. The aspect to the right is dexter, stronger. To the left is sinister. We need to determine what the month of the events is, what I showed you. And all the planets that rule the ascendant or the midheaven have to be evaluated the same way.